I'm in the UK to see up close how one of the nation's most iconic landmarks is getting a much-needed facelift.
So we're 50 metres up.
Oh my very word. Look at that.
And with the festive season just around the corner, we're in London's historic Burlington shopping arcade, as a famous face helps it celebrate its 200th Christmas. Before I head east to Norfolk's Thursford Spectacular, putting my feet to the test at Britain's biggest Christmas show. We're starting this week right in the middle of London and inside the landmark that for generations has been not just a source of beauty, but of power too. They used to call this the Mother of Parliaments. The Palace of Westminster was first built in 1016, but until the 19th century it looked very different. A massive fire and a Victorian rebuild created the Gothic spires that have made the building famous.
This is the 900-year-old heart of the UK establishment and one of its most recognisable landmarks, which you might know from scenes like this.
The eyes to the right, 202. The nose to the left, 228.
Recently, coverage of the ongoing and often heated Brexit debates have brought images of this building into homes all over the world. But the building is falling apart. Crumbling plasterwork riddled with asbestos, and even in the chamber itself, the inner sanctum of British lawmaking, there are leaks.
And I want to finally finish my comments.
The roof's leaky.
With a leaky roof in the background.
So the sitting is now suspended and no photographs, please.
The Palace of Westminster has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1987, and in 2015 a joint committee determined that the longer essential works were put off, the higher the risk the building could suffer a sudden catastrophic failure.
The cost of repair has been estimated at £3.5 billion. Even just the annual maintenance bill stacks up at a whopping £30 million. It's daunting for the man in charge of conservation, who meets me in the ancient Westminster Hall.
This is the oldest part of the Houses of Parliament, of course. This dates from 1099 and was extensively refurbished by Richard II in 1395 and finished off by Henry IV in about 1402. And so it was kind of high time it had a bit of attention, and starting off with straightening the steps out over there, for example, sorting out the floor, which was sinking in one corner. And the roof is actually in quite good shape, but it was rather dirty, so we thought we should get up then. And every so often a bit fell off. We used to have fly pasts after tripping the colour and that sort of thing, and some little pieces of timber would drop off, and that's not really conducive to public health and safety, so to speak.
That does sound like quite a challenge.
It's a huge logistical challenge. It's always very difficult in a building that's in intensive use. And remember, this is the seat of Parliament, of course. The legislature has primacy over everything we do, and we have to consider that. And so all the maintenance, you tend to get a backlog of maintenance because there isn't much time to do it in.
One of the most famous parts of the whole site is the Elizabeth Tower, which contains Big Ben, a bell, not a clock as many think. Shutterbugs coming here on holiday will have been disappointed for the past 2 years as the whole thing has been encased in scaffolding. Restoring it has been a colossal job.
We're going over the top of Portcullis House, and when we get to level 25 of the scaffold, which is about 50 metres up, you go past the clock faces.
Oh my very word. Look at that. It's enormous. How big is that?
So that's about just over 8 metres in diameter, and you can drive a double-decker bus through it, is the statistic.
Was this the original, I mean, was it originally natural stone?
Yeah,
and then
was, yeah,
later
exactly.
generations?
And we found, as we did paint layer analysis on the dial frame itself, we went back through the colours and we found that this was the blue that was the original colour. And we carried out extensive stone repairs. We're about halfway through those as well.
So has it been a straightforward process? I guess, did they leave instructions on how to fix this thing?
No, I mean, I obviously know instructions. I think the team that I feel particularly for are the clock mechanics who have taken apart the mechanism for the first time in its history and now have to put it all back together. And there are an awful lot of pieces that need to go back together, and they're phenomenally talented guys, so I've got no doubt that they will do it, and they will do it very well.
But just behind the clock face lies the main event, the enormous chunk of cast iron I'm up here to see.
Oh, I guess that's it.
That is Big Ben, yeah.
It is enormous. I mean, the name is apt.
So the bell is 13 tonnes in weight, which is phenomenal. I mean, if you can feel the thickness of it actually, like
Love to.
it's so thick.
Oh my
you
word,
don't
I
really
can't
appreciate looking at it from the outside, but
Can I have a good look under?
you can, yeah, if you can.
Oh wow. I mean, that is crazy. I mean, that's what? How thick is
12
that?
inches, maybe.
I mean, that
Maybe slightly more.
that is an impressive bell.
In the past, you've only been allowed up into the tower by contacting your MP, and only if you're a UK resident. The powers that be haven't yet decided if they're going to be relaxing those rules when it reopens.
As they come up the top of the stairs, the existing spiral stair, there'll be a glass box, and just above you be the quarter bell, so it'll be a really, really interesting viewpoint, and one that will probably scare a few people actually. But then also you can see out to Big Ben, which previously there was an old brick structure which wasn't particularly impressive, so we're going to replace it with something that kind of gives you that visibility of Big Ben as you come to the top, and it will be a real wow moment for the people who come upstairs. And
Well, I can imagine.
unforgettable, really. Like, it'd be amazing.
I can imagine after all those stairs coming up here, you want something that's a
You
wow
need something,
moment.
yeah. I mean, it's 324 steps, and you get a bit of a break halfway, so just to catch your breath. But having walked it a few times, I thought my fitness levels would improve and it'll be a lot easier. But it's not. It's still just as hard when you get to the top. And
So it better be worth it when you get
exactly,
here.
yeah,
Thankfully,
yeah.
it really
Yeah,
is.
It is, yeah. It is. Yeah.
Restoration on the tower is set to continue until 2021 and the Palace of Westminster years after that. But it's been such a privilege to come up here and see this up close, and I cannot wait for the scaffolding to come down, it all to be revealed, and for everyone to get their chance to see it too.
But in the meantime, limited tours of the Houses of Parliament, back on the ground, are still available for visitors from around the world.
Well, it's all getting nice and festive here in the UK, but if you're planning a trip and you have some last-minute gifts to buy, here are some European Christmas markets we recommend.
Croatia's capital Zagreb has become a huge citywide Christmas market, a massive event that's seen it win awards for the last 3 years in a row. The theme this time is the Nutcracker, which includes an escape room and a walk-through cave to get you in the mood. Our tip? Head for Zrinvajac Park, which has a more traditional Croatian feel, to try out some of what the Croats eat at this time of year. If you're looking for winter wonderlands, Salzburg in Austria isn't a bad shout. Its market has roots going back to the late 15th century. You'll get all the usual mulled wine, wooden huts, gingerbread and so on, but the activities here are pretty good too. They've organised sing-alongs in the main square, readings of children's Christmas stories, and traditional wind music performed high above the square. Bruges' usual ice rink has been replaced by an artificial one this year, said to be much more eco-friendly. The annual Ice Sculpture Festival has also been cancelled because city authorities said it was too energy inefficient. However, this little Belgian town is so fairy tale beautiful at this time of year, it's still well worth a visit. And the tiny alpine town of Bolzano reckons it's got Italy's biggest Christmas market. The organisers here go big on rustic and traditional. There are about 80 stalls, most selling locally made gifts. It's all set around a nativity scene in a real wooden stable.
Still to come on the travel show.
As Christmas nears, we're off to meet the people behind one of London's most historic shopping arcades. And I'm heading to the east of England to take to the stage in Britain's biggest Christmas show.
Hey. So don't go away.
Now, at this time of year, London's streets are packed with last-minute Christmas shoppers, and perhaps the most famous is Regent Street, which this year celebrates its 200th birthday. But just off Regent Street, you'll find somewhere else celebrating too. It's the Burlington Shopping Arcade that first opened back in 1819. We went to visit as it geared up for Christmas in its own unique style.
Hello, my name is Mark Lord. I'm the head beadle at the Burlington Arcade here in the heart of Mayfair.
I think the Beatles keep a great tradition in here. I love the way they stop people running, they don't let you sing and whistle. All that stuff makes it just very different to most arcades.
We have some very good customers, some great characters. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a great customer of ours. Bought several pairs once. Didn't want to carry them around with him. Was going to come back, so we said, you know, what time are you coming back? As he left, he just turned and winked and went, I'll be back.
My predecessors have told me the stories of when Fred Astaire danced in the arcade because someone bought some carpet slippers. Marilyn Monroe was filming with Laurence Olivier. His butler brought her here because apparently Sir Lawrence and Miss Monroe didn't get on very well.
We have all types of people. We have people from the Prime Minister to famous actresses and just normal people looking for engagement rings.
In 2006, I popped in here because it was time for me to look for an engagement ring. So I thought, hey, I remembered Burlington Arcade. So I popped in and I was looking at the jewellery, but I also couldn't see the shoe shiner. And I kindly asked him, I said, do you know where the shoe shine guy is? And he said, well, he hasn't come around for the last 3 months. I said, whoa, you're missing the point here. I'm a shoe shiner. I would love to be involved here. And from there, 13 years later, I'm here.
You could travel the world and look at lots of different luxury retail stores and streets, and they all look very similar. Burlington Arcade is a unique thoroughfare.
It's not too big, it's not a shopping mall. It's very human in terms of size. We jumped in another time because almost nothing has changed in terms of decor. It's like being in a fairy tale or in a movie.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They remind us of a winter wonderland, really, and it's amazing the effect that the Christmas lights can have on people. Even after my 17 Christmases in the arcade, it still gives you a tingle on the back of your spine when you are here and you see the joy on people's faces and just that little skip in their step. It has a very, very, very special atmosphere.
Now I'm heading 130 miles east to Norfolk. This part of the country is known for its beautiful countryside and network of waterways called the Norfolk Broads. But as the winter chill draws in, it's the tiny village of Thursford which, since 1977, has made Christmas special for over 6 million people.
And around this time of year, you might be thinking of heading somewhere Christmassy, like a Santa's Grotto. But few places match the scale of the Thursford Christmas Spectacular. Each day during the festive season, up to 50 coachloads of visitors come in here to see Britain's biggest Christmas show.
The drums roll out, let the trumpets call, the people shout, strike up the band.
With 2,000 pom-poms and 1.5 million rhinestones, this is a show to remember for the 110,000 people who come here during the festive season. Now in its 43rd year, this family-run production was started as one man's vision.
It's a journey to Christmas Eve, basically, in music, song and dance. But through its popularity through the years, it's had to come forward. So we now start on November the 6th. But it's basically a non-stop extravaganza of music, dance and song. I had a friend in King's College, Cambridge, who secured me the King's College Choral Scholars, which was a scoop for Norfolk at the time. And just 400, 500 people turned up. And it was just in the middle of this building here. So it started with one show, then went to 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, and so on.
The show still takes place in John's converted farmyard barn, and he begins preparing each Christmas show in January. This year, over 3,000 West End and Broadway artists auditioned to be part of the company of over 120 performers. And today, I'm going to be joining them for the big finale. But first, a crash course in learning my steps.
Clap to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hands, hands, bow, stand left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Woo! And then make your way back out.
Okay.
Cool.
So thank you so much for teaching me. I hope I don't cause you any disruption later.
No worries, you'll be great.
So tell me, what's it like for you guys to perform in a show like this? Because it's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very different. It's not like any other show. I'm one of the singers in the show, and I did the show last year and fell in love with it, so back this year. It's just such a variety, isn't it? Like, even as a singer, I do lots of musical theatre stuff, but this has got lots of classical in there as well, so it's really nice to get that kind of mixture.
One thing that's incredible here is that we're celebrating Christmas for 2 months, every day. You'd think it'd get a little tedious, but it doesn't, because every show we've got 1,400 people watching, and they're all there to celebrate Christmas, and it's just amazing to do shows every day, twice a day.
I understand that this is quite a production. We're talking about, over 100 performers. I mean, what kind of logistical challenge is this for you guys backstage?
Well,
costumes is a massive one. There are thousands and thousands of costumes in this show, because every single musician, singer, dancer, variety act, we've all got, 10, 15 costumes each.
And so, with backstage buzzing, this afternoon's Christmas Spectacular is just about to start.
I've been dreaming of Christmas time every day through the year. Trees shine in every window. Children all dream of reindeer hoofprints in the snow. I've been longing for Christmas time, when hearts are warm and filled with joy. There's love for all to share as gifts.
This is Susie. She's going to help me get into my costume.
The best time of the year.
I'm about to go on stage now. Let's hope I remember my steps. Okay, so I didn't fall over, I didn't forget the steps, and I didn't cause any kind of incident, so as far as I'm concerned, job done. But I must say, being up there, looking out at the audience, all standing, clapping, enjoying themselves, everyone singing, it really was something a bit special. And I didn't fall over. Yes. Well, that's it for this week's travel show, but coming up next week,
we'll be looking back at some of our favourite moments of the year, like when Mike climbed up one of nature's giants in California.
Condors get this view. Condors and us. It's incredible.
And when Addy went full throttle in Dubai.
Oh, yes.
so do join us then. And in the meantime, from all of us here at The Travel Show, we wish you a very happy festive season. And until next time, it's goodbye.